We now have electric car sales for the month of June. They've just come in for the majority of the big electric car manufacturers in China. And guess what? The EV market has come absolutely roaring back. Honestly, I'm pretty surprised at just how fast it's come back. Wow. Check out these numbers. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm the Electric Viking. It's great to see you. And frankly, this news is really, really good for the industry because, most electric cars in the world, they're made in China. And we need more electric cars, so therefore we do need the Chinese electric car market. Whether we like it or not, it's just the reality of the situation we're in right now. Now, for those of you who actually want to buy a Chinese EV straight from China, you actually can, if you want. I'll put a link in the description below to a company that organizes for people outside of China to buy Chinese EVs, and then they ship them to you and they do all the paperwork on their end and get it sorted for you. Quite an interesting idea. They actually sell EVs, including an EV that Volkswagen make for only $7,000 and it's pretty decent. They also sell an electric sedan that's bigger than the Tesla Model 3 with 270 kilometers of range for $7,800. I made a video about that one. Some really interesting cars there. Worth having a good look anyway. So what is going on in China? Well, obviously we've had shutdowns, lockdowns. It's affected manufacturing big time. It's affected consumer confidence big time. It's just affected the entire Chinese economy. The Chinese government has started to panic. That's clear. They're saying they're going to put in more subsidies. The reality is these subsidies that they said they're going to put in, well, they haven't even taken effect yet, obviously. So that's why I'm so surprised and excited to see these numbers, because if there is more subsidy in on top of this, well, what's going to happen? We're going to see skyrocketing orders. It could be maybe not even a good thing. If you think about it, I mean, for example, BYD has 500,000 pre-orders. How many more can they take? Now, there's a thing called the Fab Five in China. Deutsche Bank say the Fab Five EV makers, as in the 5 most promising electric car manufacturers. And they've changed who's in this Fab Five on a couple of occasions. Right now, their Fab Five include NIO, Xpeng, Li Auto, Zeekr, and Horizon Nida. Now, in my view, putting Li Auto on this list completely invalidates it because they're not even electric car manufacturers. They will make an EV though. They plan on making a fully electric version of what they make now. But right now, they only have plug-in hybrids. I don't really rank them right now. Anyway, beside the point, if you put these 5 car manufacturers together, this month, they hit an all-time high, which is pretty incredible because every year, the Chinese car market hits its all-time highs in November, December, not in the middle of the year. So this really says to you how strongly the Chinese electric vehicle market has bounced back. In my view, possibly the most promising automaker, not in terms of necessarily the car, but when I talk value for money, growth, Leapmotor. They're the ones doing it right now. Value for money is amazing. Growth in their vehicle sales is absolutely spectacular. Now, I don't know if they make any profit from their cars. They might not. But heck, I'd be more than willing to own one of them considering the price. I would buy one in a second. I'd walk into, if they started a dealership here up in Australia tomorrow and it was, the prices were say 10% more than China, I'd go in there and I'd buy one within a minute before everyone else could run in and rush in and push me aside and try and buy one as well. Now, Leapmotor delivered 11,259 vehicles in June. It was up only 12% from May, but compared to 3,941 last year in the same month, well, it was nearly triple what they did in the same month last year, which is absolutely insane. I mean, imagine if we were sitting here saying this about Volkswagen. Imagine if they tripled what they did in the same month last year. I can guarantee you now, they probably won't even hit what they did in the same month last year this year, right? They probably won't even hit it. This company nearly tripled it, even after they've been locked down with COVID, right? Which hasn't really affected Volkswagen all that much because they don't make all that many electric cars in China right now. They plan to, but they don't right now. So you can see, right, how this company is doing incredibly well. Next, Nita. Nita, the same deal. They make their electric cars, damn, I mean, talking about affordable cars, you can buy a car here that's like the size of a Toyota Corolla for $10,000 from these guys. And they're good. I mean, they're not junk. Anyone who says they're junk, they haven't watched my video showing you their cars. Just do some research. They make good cars. There's no question about it. Anyhow, they delivered 13,157 vehicles in the month versus last year, same month, 5,138. So that's nearly triple as well for them. So NIDA are the electric vehicle brand of their parent company called Hoson Auto. And clearly that means their sales were up 156% versus the same month last year. Huawei-backed Atto, which has kind of been a brand that there's been a lot of talk about them, but then everyone started to ignore them because it was sort of like wolf in sheep's clothing. They kept saying, oh, look at us, blah, 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 and nothing really happened. Well, they started actually delivering cars finally in March of this year. They delivered 3,000. The next month, they delivered 3,245. The following month, they delivered 5,000. This month, they delivered 7,000. So just a little tip to Legacy Auto. That's how you actually ramp up. I mean, that's not speedy by any means, but Rivian, Lucid, Volkswagen, Ford, General Motors, just have a look at these graphs from these Chinese car companies. If you're not already doing it, have a look at them. Have a look where they're going. If it's so easy to make electric cars, to all the commenters all over the internet, who I'm just really fed up with reading your comments that are just so ridiculous, who are just saying Legacy Auto is going to crush the industry. They're going to make all these EVs and they're going to destroy all these car makers. Well, why are they not ramping up like all these EV makers are? Just a question, rhetorical, of course. So Atto hits 7,000 when last month the same month last year they did 0. That's pretty impressive. Now the Huawei technology inside those cars, it's next level. I mean, I'm talking computing power that's better than my computer here, which is a brand new MacBook with the latest, super silicon chip in it. Amazing stuff. Xpeng, what do? You've heard all about Xpeng. I own Xpeng stock. By the way, Xpeng stock, I still think it's a bargain. It's jumped up since I bought it, but I still think this company is going places. They're going to be one, in my view, of the 10 biggest car companies in the world by 2030. I know that sounds crazy, but I really think they will be. And I've done a lot of research. They delivered 15,300 electric cars in June. That was up 51% from the month before when they had all issues with deliveries during COVID. But they delivered 6,500 vehicles last year. So 6,500 EVs last year to 15,300 in the same month this year. That's again, nearly tripled again. An increase of 133% versus the same month last year. That's really, you've got to say, come on. That's going places. GM, Mary Barra, have a look at this graph here. Next up, we've got NIO. You all know who NIO are, I'm sure. I own stock of NIO as well. And if you don't, I suggest you do, unless you're Australian, and then you shouldn't do anything I say because otherwise I'll get fined $400,000. NIO delivered a record 13,000 EVs, which was completely unexpected. Nobody predicted this would happen. This is massively an all-time high. Their next closest all-time high was actually back in November of last year when they delivered 10,900. So that's a jump. That's an increase of 2,100 versus that month. And remember, NIO's vehicles are very expensive. Their average selling price is higher than Tesla's. Actually quite a bit higher than Tesla's. So considering the same month last year, NIO did 8,000 cars. This month they've done, basically 13,000. Massive increase from NIO. And hopefully, there's only going to be more up from here because NIO obviously are going to open their new factory where they'll be manufacturing their own cars, should be able to control their own destiny a bit better than what they've been able to by using JAC as their joint venture partner to make their EVs right now. Next, we've got Li Auto. Li Auto delivered 13,000 vehicles in the month of June versus 7,700 last year. Now, I'll talk a lot more about Li Auto on this channel. I'll get into the models of the cars that they sell once they actually start selling fully electric cars. Right now, they sell very, very good plug-in hybrids, but I don't care about them. So sorry, too bad if you're interested. They need to sell the real deal, and they will soon. Now, the final car company here is Chongqing SoCon. Bit of a tough name. I think they'll need to change that brand when they sell overseas. I'm sure they're aware of that. But this company is crushing it this year. I don't know what's happened because They haven't been affected by COVID policies at all. I mean, okay, put it this way, right? Best month of the year always, every year for every car company, well, it's either November or December. This Chongqing Socona, that's actually how you pronounce it, by the way. I know. They delivered 6,150 electric cars in December of last year. This month, they delivered 12,500 electric cars, which is incredible. Now, in the same month last year, they delivered 4,300. So they pretty much exactly tripled their delivery figures from last year. But their ramp up has been really intriguing. Now, for example, in February, they delivered 3,300 EVs, which is a number to be expected. About 50% of December's deliveries is normal for car companies in China. The following month, they jumped up from 3,000 to 7,500. Next month, April, right? That's when everyone was locked down. They delivered 8,500. More lockdowns being affected. May, 10,500. June, 12,400. I mean, if you look at this graph, they haven't been affected at all by COVID lockdowns. I don't know how that's possible. I'm absolutely baffled. But this is yet another car company in China now, which is selling more than 10,000 electric cars per month. That list is growing. That's growing constantly. That's got to alarm you if you are the competition. That's got to alarm you if you're Volkswagen. It's got to alarm you because they're eating into Volkswagen's market. Not only did BYD just jump past Volkswagen, they sell more EVs, but more importantly, their market cap is now greater than Volkswagen's because people think they're going places, right? They see more of a future for BYD than they do for Volkswagen. But Volkswagen, 50% of their profits are made in China. Only 40% of their car sales are in China, but that's still a lot of cars. However, everyone is now predicting that they're losing market share. Not only are they losing market share, but they're going to continue to lose market share, and it's only a downward spiral from here. Now, do I think Volkswagen can sell a lot of EVs in China? Absolutely they can. Will they? Don't know. Will their market share be anywhere near what it is today, no matter what they do in 3 years' time? No, it won't. There's zero chance they're going to hold even 80% of the market share they have now in China. And considering 50% of their profit comes from there, that's a big problem for them, a massive problem. Will they surpass Tesla when it comes to electric vehicle sales by 2024, as was predicted by Bloomberg NEF? Of course not. That's lunacy. If you want to believe that, I've got a bridge to sell you. Now, getting back to the issue here, electric vehicle sales. I believe BYD will likely deliver 120,000 in the month, which is more than all these car companies I just told you put together. 120,000. That's going to be crazy. What about Tesla? Well, check out my Tesla video where I show you the recent predictions from all the analysts lately, and then I give you my prediction. I'll put a link in the description below to that video. And in that video, I give you my numbers for the quarter. Now, for those of you wondering, I am currently invested in NIO, Xpeng, BYD, Tesla, Lucid. I have $10 in Lucid. Lucky that, because it's only worth $3 now. I invested 10, it's now worth $3. Rivian, same deal, $10. It's now worth about, I don't know, $3 or $4. General Motors, $10. That's now worth about $5. Ford, same thing, gone down. Fortunately, I invested most of my money in the other companies I spoke to you about before. Tesla, NIO, Xpeng, BYD. And you know what? If you've got any spare change, I'll do the same. I would suggest you do the same. I use the app called Stake. Now, you can use that app in different countries, but if you want to use it, you don't already use it. A lot of you I know have started using it. You can use my code. I've got a code where you get a free stock, I get a free stock if you use it. But remember, for you Aussies, don't use the Australian version. You can't buy all these stocks with the Australian version. You've got to do the US one, and you can do that easily. It just asks you when you load up if you want to use the US or the Australian version. If you use the Australian one, you won't get a free stock, and you won't be able to invest in any of these companies. You'll only be able to invest in Australian stocks. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye.